Yo, DVD Era TV back at y'all with another one. We got a very special guest in the building. Introduce yourself.
KOB.
Now, with that said, y'all already know we got Maino in the building at KOB. What's up, Maino? How you feeling?
Good. What's the vibes, my brother? How you feeling?
Now, you came home after doing 10 years in jail, you know what I'm saying? Very young. You decided to take rap serious. How was that whole process of transition was for you?
Coming home from jail, I had a plan, I had a dream. I wanted to execute it by any means necessary. I got out. I wanted to get to it. I came out with a lot of energy, a lot of things that I look back, where I'm at right now. I understand where some of my actions might have been a lot abrasive, for a lot of these guys. You understand? So, but you got to understand those are different times and I was in a different space in my life. I'm looking at the game like, damn, these niggas out here faking. So when I get out, I'm like, I'm the genuine article. Like y'all want to see a movie, we gonna really make it. So I got out here and I had that kind of energy. The only thing I wish that I would have understood earlier on was understanding that this is really just a business and that, the name of the game is to, we're going to get famous, we're going to get on, we're going to have the clout and everything. But at the same time, this is a business. Don't scare the money away. So I spent a lot of time scaring the money away when I should have been, building my relationships more and getting to the opportunity, because trust me, the opportunity is greater.
Now, when many people was introduced to you, it was in the DVD era, doing DVDs and mixtapes, but you found the formula very early. Like you talk about now, like people understand the internet a little earlier. You had a formula that you may have gotten from like people like 50 Cent, where you took shots at rappers and you got at people, started controversy and got your name up. Where did you get that idea from to take that approach?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely took that approach, and I see a lot of niggas like, man, got into the game, he was trolling. The difference between trolling back in that time was that it wasn't about disrespect. It was about actually making songs that was creative, that was witty enough to grab the attention of the industry. That's what it was about. So when you think about 50 Cent, How to Rob, it was a creative song, man. Like that's just it was creative. And then you think about the song that I had that put me in the game. Way before High Hater, the song that put me in the game, and was the song Rumors. So I was like, I took a page out of that. I'm like, how do I get everybody to look at me at one time? You understand? So I talked about the rumors that was going on. So it's always rumors that's floating around the industry. It has been and it always will be. So what I did was I sat down and thought about all of the rumors that was happening in the music business or the industry at that particular time, and I talked about it. I'm not saying I'm saying it. I'm saying this is what the world is saying. So that was the record that actually got me really, really, really noticed, and I got my first record deal off that. I love that time. It was a beautiful time because everything was new. Everything that was happening was a new experience for me, and that's the reason why I'm here today. I see a lot of people make those comparisons between what's going on now on the internet and stuff like that. It's slightly different. Man, no, it's a lot different for me. You know what I mean? Because what guys don't understand, it's just content and all these other things, but content is one thing, we get that, but disrespect is another.
Now, Rumors got you your first deal. Big record in the street, very creative. We never really heard nobody take that approach where they speaking on things that they heard. And it got you a lot of attention, obviously, because it got you your deal. But do you feel like you was chasing that moment, trying to get that same momentum that Rumors had? But it seemed like you continued to go at rappers and stuff. Now, one of the rappers you went at after you linked up with Little Kim was Little C's. And I see that y'all squashed that and all that. But can you explain where that came from, your problems with Little C's?
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was about me chasing it, but more or less who I was as a person at that time. The thing about the mentality of a nigga that, is trying to get somewhere and feels like, his options are limited. he's willing to kick the door in by any means, any means necessary. So I mean, the issues with C's was more or less my loyalty to Kim at that time. And I guess in that era, I was willing to exploit that, and it was what it was. You see, you gotta understand the mentality, right? I'm not here to try to glorify something, but also try to give you some real game on the mentality of it. You gotta go back to my history, bro. Understand that I was a nigga that was in the street early, went to prison early, and those the only two places I had ever been in my life. I had never been nowhere else but the street and prison. I grew up, got into trouble, went to DFY, went to Sparfit, went to do all of these things, went through all of these tumultuous things coming up, right? And then went to jail, went to prison, went through stuff there, came home, and now I'm in the street. Now I'm trying to get into the industry. So I wasn't in the space mentally to understand certain things about life, certain things about positioning, certain things about just the business in general. So you had a different version of who I was at that time, more reactive, more into the shit, because this is my history. This is all I ever was around. This is all I ever knew. And on top of that, I'm thinking, this is what the people want. The people want the realest in the world. So I was out here trying to win the real nigga race when it was all about entertainment. So that's where all that came from. All that clashing I was doing, yeah, some of the shit, could have been dealt with differently. I don't regret anything, because it's who makes us. It's those things make us who we are today. The scars, the stripes, the pain, all that make us who we are. So it is what it is. It helps us to develop into where we at. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely feel that and all that. And I know you and Lil C's had a fight before and all that. And I see that y'all squashed that. How was that squashed? And also let the young boys that may be listening understand how important it is sometimes to bury the hatchet and put the past behind you and move on. And even, you ain't got to be the best of friends with people, but sometimes squashing things is better. They got to understand that. So let them know.
Yeah, man, we got past that. It was the right thing to do. And the thing is, nothing had been done that we couldn't, get past. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes there's issues in life with certain people that you just never gonna get past that. And, those are lifetime issues. I know about those too. But as far as that particular situation, it was nothing that we couldn't, walk away from. So it was so mutual, mutual people involved, and and it was cool. We cool to this day, and it's respect. That's what men do. Men get past, bullshit skirmishes and bullshit issues. And like for the youngness, listen, man, if it ain't some shit that's so detrimental, then live to fight another day, bro. Like, we can get past that, but a lot of that come with growth, a lot of that come with time, and you gotta allow niggas to walk they walk. You know what I mean? I know what it is to have lifetime enemies, and I know what it is to say, look, bro, this is what happened. We gonna agree to, you stay on your side of the road, I stay on mine, and that's just that. And then there's certain issues where you'll never these people again, ever. It's certain people, that I've had fallouts with and issues with that I don't, yeah, I don't mean them no well, and I know they don't mean me no well. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. I'm mature enough to understand that there's a difference. So when we speaking about like certain rap issues and certain things that happen in the game, none of that is really detrimental to me, man. I could get past those, bro.
Now you in a sneaker store, somebody end up getting shot. Explain that situation and what other up and coming rappers that's well known can do to avoid situations like that.
When you're in the hood, Man, listen, just to be honest with you, man, listen, when you're in the hood, you know, always understand that there's people out there hungry, so anything can happen at any time. You know, I can't say how you can avoid situations like that. You know, just be careful, you know, safety at all times. I was in a situation at a sneaker store back then, and I know where I went wrong at. I went wrong with the fact that I was in the store too long. Had I went in there and got the stuff that I went and came to get and left, that would have never happened. But I was there long enough for people to see me, double back, get what they needed to get, and come back and try to come get me. I was offended at that point because I felt like, my God, I represent y'all. I'm speaking for the hungry. I'm speaking for the coming off the ground. You got a gun to me? So it didn't go the way, you know, that they wanted it to go. You know, the roles got reversed. Homie got shot. And, you know, that was really that. It could have went bad. It could have went bad for me, but I felt like in that situation, the way I assessed it, it didn't look like them boys knew what they was doing, and it is what it is. Again, I ain't here glorifying nothing. It's just that's just the way it happened, you know?
Now, you just spoke about having lifetime enemies. Now, I'm going to bring up an enemy you had a particular time of your life, and that was boxing ball. Now, explain the situation with you in boxing ball if people didn't hear it already. And I also want to know why now on the internet, a lot of people feel like they can use that as ammo against you and throw it in your face that you was cut by boxing ball.
I think people like to bring that up because, for one, the perception that a lot of these guys got of me is that, is that I think I'm so tough and I think I'm gangster and, you know, I'm just this guy that just is a bully. So what that does is that, so when you find out that something like that happened, which I've always spoke about, and I've always said the same thing. It was like, you know, it was nothing. Like, I had to cut each other, and I always left it as that. But I think that people like to hang on to that because it kind of makes them feel like it humanizes me in a way where it's like, nigga, I told you he ain't this guy that he's portraying to be. When all actuality is, I never portrayed to be nothing. All I ever did was adapt to my environment. Any environment that I was ever in, I adapted to it, and anything that ever happened was a result of that, period, point blank. When it was in the street, we picked up pistols and used them. Did what we had to do in that era. When I went to prison, it was about raises and all that other shit. So I didn't never claim to be anything. So I just think that anything that kind of makes, you know, a guy like me or a person that is perceived to be this look regular or look less live or anything like that, then they will hang on to those stories. Now, and the reason why I believe that is because they have now created tons of stories that absolutely are not true. Stories things that never have happened, but yet they have now created tons of stories that absolutely are not true. Things that never have happened, but yet and make and say that these things happen. And then no matter how many times I say, yo, look, these things never happen. That's make believe. That's fiction. They still say it. So I mean, you know, the real truth is that the truth isn't as exciting. It's not as exciting. The truth is what? I was a young that stood on whatever he stood on, had my issues with niggas, dealt with whatever I dealt with, came home, got into the business, stepped on a couple guys, whatever. When those things happen and it makes me feel like, or makes me look like I'm this so-called tough guy, then the lies are more attractive. It's more easier, it's more exciting to believe that that things happen to me that never happened. It's more exciting for somebody to come on the internet and say something that happened to me that never happened. That's better for the content. You understand? It's better for those in their minds to believe that I'm not the guy that I portrayed to be.
Definitely, I feel you with that. Like it's a rumor going around that Rod Diggs put hands on your brother Mouse, and he chased you out of Wyckoff Projects when you were shooting a video. So I think that's what you're talking about. So elaborate on that situation.
It's a lot of rumors. It's a lot of rumors, but that's definitely one of the main ones that keeps circulating. And there's guys that continuously repeat things that they heard other people say. I was never chased out of nowhere ever in my life, okay? I was never packed up from no video shoot or nothing. Rod Diggs, we never had a run-in at no video shoot, and that never happened. Make-believe, that's a fairy tale. That's something that somebody made up and said in order to try to demean me or make me look some kind of way. This whole issue with him and my brother, Rod Diggs and my brother, never had a fight, ever. Never had a fight. That never happened. I can't say that more because every time I've went on the internet and said, yo, look, y'all got to stop running with these stories. All they continue to do is say it over and over again. You got this actually. I didn't heard stories like it happened in a studio, it happened in a back, all kinds of shit, made up, you know. And I had an interview with Queen's Flip that I did a few years back where I talked about it, and then I said that Rod Diggs and my people got into a incident. He wasn't in it, and I wasn't in it. Okay? Nobody was knocked out. Nobody was hurt. Nothing. None of that. That was the gist of that. And I just can't say that more than 100 times. Like, and this is the last time I should even have to even address that. You understand? Like, these stories, again, the lie is better than the truth because the lie makes me look less like the person that they think that I'm portraying. You understand? And I get that. You know, it's not exciting to believe that I just been a nigga that just been standing on his holding his own and getting to his issue. You know, they have to believe that there's blemishes on me. And listen, the bumps and bruises and scrapes that I took in life, I earned them. I wear my scars every day because they was bought with blood, my nigga. I wear my shit like it's jury. You understand? I walk with my head high, you know, and this ain't about no industry thing. This is about being a man. When it was time for me to put my suit on and be something and do the things that I needed to do to protect who I felt like I was, I did them. You understand? So, yeah, that's just one of the many folklore stories that circulate on the internet every single day. Absolutely false.
I respect that 100% because Rod Diggs is in jail, well, prison. He not dead. It's easy to make a phone call to him and verify if it was true, even though I don't think he's thinking about that. So salute to that. But I want to say this to you, man. I think, like we talked about the rumors, you got a buzz off that. It was a situation you had with young Berg where you ended up putting hands on him, right? And the perception these people create is like you was bullying him, and I don't feel like that was the case. You know, sometimes you gotta put somebody in their place. Where's that situation at to this day? I see I took a picture together and all that. Like, he became a super producer and he elevated. Do you feel like you burnt the bridge by doing that, or was something that was needed at that particular time?
Yo, bro, listen, man, I ain't got no issue with no nigga that ain't got an issue with me, bro. I'm not on that. I'm not looking for that. Don't nothing feel better than living, getting to your bread, taking care of your family, creating opportunities, and enjoying life. That's the only time I'm on. As far as anything with Young Berg, I don't feel like I miss nothing because anything that's for you is not going to miss you. Period. Point blank. I'm not over here missing no meals, my brother. You understand? My issue with the internet is you got niggas that don't qualify to say things, saying them. You can't be a nigga that never been at the threshold of the music business, calling another NFL rapper. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. So what I'm saying is that no, I don't feel like no bridge was burned. It wasn't meant. It wasn't meant. I'm not losing no mills.
So that was all that happened. Like you ain't put hands on them. I have to put hands on them. You know what I'm saying? It was just a light scuffle and that was it.
Yeah, man. Hey, bro, listen, man. You know, cause I don't like rehashing old shit happened, but yeah, I mean, it happened, man. Shit happened, and we got past that. You know, something else that we got past. You know, I see people, you know, talking down about me about, oh, you did. Look, I wasn't trying to even hurt. Like I was like just trying to shake us up, wake niggas up. That's it. Like, and that was that. That wasn't nothing to really even, you know, be talking about at this point. And I know this is the DVD era, and I get what the conversation is about. But right now, you know what I'm on, man. Ain't nothing but progress over here. We pushing, man. Brand new podcast. You know, let's rap about it with me and my dogs. It's a lot of good going on. I got a lot of happening. So that's the only time I'm on, man. The things that happen, you know, they already happened, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact. I see your growth. I see that you're more positive. Like when you do interviews, you just having fun, having a good time. You don't even really want to bring up the past, but you know that's part of your story. So everybody gonna bring it up. So salute to you for your growth. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I love the energy and all that. Pause. I see that you and Tragedy Gaddafi got into it. Some say you jumped them. Whatever the case may have you. He was a new artist. He was an established artist, and he promised you something. He eventually supposed to got you a deal. He ripped you off for the money or whatever, allegedly, and you had to show him what it was about or whatever like that. Let the YNs know what they can avoid in situations like this.
I mean, I don't know if this is a YN thing because this is a personal thing, you know. I mean, he was somebody that I was a fan of, so it broke my heart for me to even be in that situation with him. Honestly, you know, we wound up squashing it, and you know, we got past that. But yeah, it was something that had bothered me, and I felt how I felt, you know. And I dealt with it at the time the way that I knew how to, you know, which was not, you know, business-like. You know, I dealt with things the way I dealt with them. As far as that, like as far as the YNs and the young niggas coming up, man, just have your business straight, bro. Like, you know, just have your business straight as much as possible, and you just can't take the word of everybody, bro, because niggas is out here trying to pay their rent, you know, and just keep their bills going. So, yeah, that's all I really can say to that, man. You know, situation that happened in the past, we dealt with it the way we dealt with it. Years later, we wound up getting past it, and that's just that, man. I respect every man, and that's until it's disrespect. So, yeah.
Okay, man, no, I ain't gonna take up more of your time. Just let the people know what you're working on, what you got going on, and things we can expect from Maino in 2025, 2026.
All brand new everything, bro. New shows, new content, new music, new everything, brother. You'll see. Let's just keep getting it, man. I love your platform. Keep doing what you do. You got something different. You know, that DVD game, that DVD era, it put me in the game. So I got a real love for that whole era right there. You know what I mean? First time people seen me was Smack DVD, and that's always gonna hold a real place in my heart, man. So salute to you. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Shout out and salute to Maino for pulling up and showing the channel love. His DVD Era TV signing off.
But I did just think about it. I'm over here talking to one of my people, right? And I'm just thinking, like, I did come in the game crazy. Just think about the fact that I was out here wearing a crown saying I run Brooklyn. I'm the king of Brooklyn. So if you got to think, so for a lot of these guys that never had a voice and opportunity to be what they always wanted to be, they was looking at me from a distance going, I hate this. He running around getting into these situations and getting the best out of them. Shit. Damn. So I just had to think about that and add that, man. You know what I mean? Looking at it from that lens, it's like, man, this nigga out here having his way, he too shiny. And now it is, we talking, what, almost 20 years later, man. We still jumping out of farms. We still doing what the we want to do, man. We still out here chasing opportunity and getting to it. Damn. Yeah, that might be a little too much for these boys, man.